patterns overall. We see across all issues, we see extreme polarization of the parties in this modern period, but we see occasionally people dance across. We'll see Jeffords dance across there, and Lindsey Graham reach out. There he is. Okay, so this is just an example. The stuff I'm working on with text is just one example of the kinds of data that social interactions are leaving traces of that social scientists are beginning to take advantage of. I'm on my last. Yeah. Take advantage of to do social science. Text is a big one. Text is a big one. It reflects a social act. Even Thoreau, writing things down, was expecting somebody to read it. But there are all these other types of social data that are increasingly available. Networks, geocoded data. These things combined, reality mining work that's being done with people carrying cell phones and recording the text messages and their interactions, and so where they are and who they communicate with and who they're near, and microtransactions like Google Ads, bids over Google Ads, and eBay bids and that sort of thing. Hierarchical data, hierarchy, I could have said complex ontologies and quoted Lee. We have people nested in in very complex ways that we've mostly ignored in social science data analysis because those data don't fit flat tables. But now we have ways of thinking about these in more complicated ways. So statistical and computational demands are growing exponentially, and I think it would be no surprise that I agree. Cyber infrastructure is crucial to staying at to being on the cutting edge in the social sciences as well as in the other disciplines we've seen. That's it.
Questions for Dr. Monroe?
So I cannot resist but asking this question. Essentially, the beautiful analysis you showed
sort of confirms what the pollsters for these politicians would have established. So in a sense, are you working on models that are predictive, in the sense where our politicians take positions primarily driven by what will either keep them in the office? I am beginning to lose hope that they do take position for national good. But the point is, today a pollster uses his or her gut and figure out what are the keywords to be woven into a speech. And usually pollster's gut, if you have a good pollster, your gut plays out and it hits the mark, right? So your data basically establishes that pollsters get something right and things are sharply divided, right? So do you have a predictive model that a pollster can then reduce the number of calls they have to make and actually figure out a priori what to tell their candidate, what to say and how to say it?
There are a lot of things built into that. So one issue there is I talked about representation earlier as matching, as representatives matching. But if we think about it dynamically, we're interested in who moves first. So do elected leaders listen / pander and do what polls tell them to do, or do they lead / manipulate, that is, tell us what to think about what they've already decided to do. So it turns out our data help us. It depends on what topic. National defense, they lead. The economy, it depends on whether you're in government or opposition, and whether the economy is good or bad. So, if you're in opposition, the economy is bad, you bring it up, and so on. So there's a lot of conditional effects, and we can sort of see that. As to the particular frames and words, we see the examples we know were done that way. They pop out very clearly. The best example was poll-driven, poll-tested, was the inheritance tax, which was called by the Democrats the estate tax. We're taxing your estate. Sounds quite grand, right? Quite posh. If you have an estate, we must tax it. And the Republicans said, no, we're taxing death. It's a death tax. And it's the exact same policy, and it sounds atrocious or an obviously good idea in the two, and in our tax model pops out as the most. Is there anything systematic about it? Yes, there are things that underlie ideology. We saw freedom pop out. Freedom, liberty, individual rights, those pop out in Republican frames across topics. And that's not really poll-driven. That's something about conservative ideology. On the Democratic side, there are things about equality, community, fairness, words that bring up those values. Those are systematic. And we have some predictive things we've worked on. We're very good at predicting votes, for example. In the legislature, we're very good. We can predict how quickly hearings will be held in response to a military action, and we've done that comparatively, things like that. But we're working on it.
Other questions?
I think there's one down here, Jerry.
Well, I was wondering how much speaking style and mannerisms affect pulling out context from these word counts. Like, is there a legislature particular person that?
Yeah, how much, I don't know if people could hear, the question was how much does individual style in speaking, that sort of thing, affect the results? It depends on the size of the legislature, how much leverage we can get over an individual. Some legislatures have so many people who get very little time to speak, it's hard to separate out some idiosyncratic things about the individuals. We see things in here, the U.S. Congress is sanitized. It's not how they actually spoke. People say, I'm gonna, and it says, I am going to, in the transcript. So very few things slip through. There's some Southern senators that get things like gotten. That word gets in there. We have to be very concerned about what we can say about individuals, because that we need ways to, it's hard to identify something idiosyncratic. So we're more confident about things we can say about points in time, about groups of people like parties or women or something like that, than we are individuals.
I have one more question. So knowing what you know and what you showed us about what you can pull out of communicated text, does that make you more, I guess, reticent on Facebook or Twitter or these massive databases?
Very reticent. Well, let's see. I'm less reticent on Facebook probably than I should be, because I sort of think I know who my network is. But if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I haven't posted for about 4 months. So I think I've become pretty reticent on Twitter because it's completely open. And there's very similar work being done on things like Twitter because it is open API. Noah Smith down at Carnegie Mellon was just in the news just this week with pulling out dialects from Twitter feeds. So New Yorkers say you with 2 U's, like use, and everybody else as an abbreviation on Twitter, and you need a lot of tweets to find that, I think. So, but there are a lot. But sure, nobody's invisible on the internet, I guess.
All right, let's thank Dr. Monroe. Okay. One of the things that we are doing is having a